Today I am excited to take you on a little spring vegetable garden tour. We are here at our house with our garden boxes, and this is a great way to have your own victory garden using raised beds. Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny, and today we are going to take a spring vegetable garden tour. We are standing here at our house in front of our garden boxes, and I cannot wait to show you how you can have your own victory garden using garden boxes, raised containers to produce tons of herbs and vegetables. So Jerry and I created this space probably about 5 years ago. Nothing is flat here at Creekside, and you can see that we are on quite a slope, and in the middle of 2 flower beds we have our vegetable garden. I just call them the garden boxes. Behind us we have different hydrangeas, petunias, all sorts of things. I will tell you though that we have gotten 5 inches of rain in like the last 5 days, so please forgive some of the petunias that look a little rough because they've been beat down over the past couple of days. On the edge of our garden boxes, this space, I have Munstead lavender. We are very close to the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, so the kids and I like to go up there and walk through the gardens as little day tours. A couple of years ago we were up there and I noticed that they have this gorgeous hedge of lavender in the gardens, and I thought that would be so much fun to recreate here on a little bit of a smaller scale than Biltmore. So I have the Munstead lavender that goes all the way around the back of the garden boxes. It is doing very well. It's about to be in complete bloom. There are a couple of holes. I've got to replace some of them that perished over the winter, but Munstead is a great variety for us here in the southern climates. With the heat and humidity, Munstead does really well. You'll also see that I have the container of Proven Winners Buried Treasure strawberries. We did a video on that very first Victory Garden video where I planted this. They are doing great. We've had a couple of strawberries off of them, as have had the squirrels. The squirrels have gotten into these, but even despite that, they're still doing very well. So no matter where your garden, you're always going to have critters and pests that try to eat the fruits of your labor, but so is gardening. Now, we have in here 5 garden boxes that are 10 feet long, 4 feet wide, and I just rotate these as the season goes. Obviously this is the end of May, so these are all of the cool weather crops. They are about to be harvested, and then I will switch out and put in my summer vegetables. In this first container, these are all carrots. They're probably way too close to each other, but that's okay. I planted these, direct sowed these February the 9th. I write on my packet when I plant them because I will never remember when I do it. So I always make little notes on my packets and then save my packets. There are 4 different varieties in here. It probably was a little early, even here in North Carolina, February the 9th, to plant them because they sat here for a couple of weeks before they germinated. But you know what? It was a day and it was nice and sunny, and I needed to get my hands in the dirt. I had some time, so I went ahead and did it. We actually harvested our first carrots this week and had them for supper, and they were delicious. So we're going to go through and just kind of show you the different varieties. This first one, I'm probably going to say it wrong. Iverness, I believe is how you say it. It is just a great classic carrot. Just a beautiful long, now this is a baby carrot, still super sweet, has great flavor, but just the classic carrot, long and slender, very delicious. You can use it cooked, you can do them raw, all sorts of things. Then on the next one, and it would be smart to put little labels. You know, Jenny, the biggest lie that I tell myself is, oh, I'll remember that. Yeah, no, I don't. So even though we did have all that rain, they are in here really well. Ooh, I see one. Now let's see if I can get it out. Because, oh, there we go. Oh, it's a baby. We're going to get it. Here we go. You know, that's the fun part and the challenging part of gardening. Is sometimes trying to do it with your hands. Okay. Ha ha! I was rewarded for my efforts. This is a beautiful one. Now, if I remember correctly, this is purple dragon. So if I am wrong, we'll put it up on the screen. Purple dragon has this beautiful beet red color. And then let's see. Oh, shoot, that didn't work. It's so short, I can't crack it. Ah, there we go. I got it. Okay, so the purple dragon has an orange center to it. It's really cool. It has a great, unique flavor. It's, of course, a classic carrot, but with a little hint of a beet flavor, shall I say? Really delicious, though. Cooked, raw, however you want to do it. We're getting dirty now. It's fun. All right, next, we're hunting for carrots. Hunting for carrots. Let's see. Oh, here's a big one. If you would, you know, space them out the way you're supposed to, then it wouldn't be this way. But as sweet Christine says, life's too short for minimum spacing, so there you go. This is red samurai. Now, red samurai is not fully developed yet, so you can't really appreciate the full color. So it will have a nice red color, and then on the inside, it will be pink. So the red samurai is really neat because it will retain that pink color even when you cook it. So if you have kids that are sometimes a little finicky and picky about eating their food, if you give them some really cool colors and cool shapes, like this one, look at this one. Oh, okay, here we go. This is an easy one. Oh, okay. Look at this sweet thing. Now this is Thumbelina, and Thumbelina is just a cute, short, little round carrot. Again, great classic carrot flavor. Roast them, cook them, eat them raw, however you want to. So we love this cute little Thumbelina. So carrots are in here. I just harvest them as we need them. So when we have, you know, looking for something for supper or a snack, I'll just come out here and pull what we need. It also thins them out so the other ones can grow and get nice and big. So we've got carrots. Next we have onions. I started these onions as an onion set, so they were just little bulbs. And it was a variety mix. There's red, yellow, and white onions in here. You can go ahead and start harvesting them now and use them as spring onions, or you can let them go ahead and fully mature to a bulb and use them that way. You can store them, you can properly dry them. Again, I kind of use them as the carrots. I'm gonna go ahead and start harvesting them as I need them, then let some of them get big. So it's just that progression. Instead of one big harvest, I just use them as I need them. So to give you an example, this is one. This is a white one. Just a great sweet flavor on it. The other night when we did have supper, I pulled a couple of these, just trimmed them up, cleaned them up. You can, of course, use the stalks as green onions. So, you know, just freshen them up, you know, a salad, anything. But I just sliced them, cut them in half, and then we roasted them with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, like 425. Oh, they were delicious. So onions are super easy to grow. I mean, you basically just stick them in the ground, space them. I did try to space these appropriately. And they're just really easy. You just let them go. So we have onions, and then you can also see really well in this box, the brown tubing that is snaked through here is the irrigation. That is a key component to your victory garden. Whether you have a big massive one that's directly in the ground, you have garden boxes, or you're doing it in a pot or a container. You've got to have consistent water to your victory garden. Otherwise, it's just not going to work as well. It will work, but not as well. The first year or two that we had these garden boxes, we did not have irrigation up here. So I was having to pull the hose every morning up here and water. And it just, of course, it was successful, but it was not, the plants were not as happy, as healthy as they are now. Jerry installed this irrigation for me. It's fantastic. So this brown tubing, it has emitters every 12 inches. Every time that I'm ready to harvest or I'm ready to plant, I just have it staked down. So I pull it back, lay it off to the side, do what I need to do to the bed, then put it back, and then I will plant. So It makes it really easy, it's consistent. The plants are watered from the roots instead of an overhead watering, so that helps reduce any kind of threats of like funguses, viruses. So the foliage on your plants are a lot happier and healthier. So if you can put in some sort of drip system, soaker hose system, it really is best. We do have this on a timer, so I don't have to worry about it. It comes on every morning. Depending on the season, will depend on how much it gets watered. Obviously, we just had 5 inches of rain this week. I don't need to water today, so we turn the system off. July and August, I may even need to water this twice a day, in the early morning and then mid-afternoon, because it does just get so hot. All of this space gets a lot of sun. The sun rises behind me and then comes across and sets in front of me. So it does get some shade in the morning, but then after that, it gets that full, hot, blazing sun. So when you're doing your garden, you've got to have at least 6 hours of sun. So keep that in mind. Now, moving on to the next box. This is the center box. It's right in front of the steps when you're coming up. This is a more permanent box. This is my herb box. And I have in the center an obelisk metal structure. This is Proven Winners Pink Mink Clematis growing on it. It is a perennial. It comes back every year. This is all new growth. So with this clematis, I actually cut it back to about a foot off the ground, and then it has just taken off. I planted it last year. Didn't do quite as well. I got a couple of blooms on it. This year, it loves life, and it is very happy. So the pink mink will do this beautiful pink bloom with a hot pink stripe center. So really pretty. I can't wait for this one to start blooming. I do have all my herbs in here. So a lot of these herbs are perennials for us. Again, North Carolina, Zone 7B. So in the back, we have the chives. The chives are about halfway through their blooming, really pretty. Again, use it for all your cooking, your salads. You can just do all sorts of things. So we have 2 chives right here. In the center, we have a basil that is growing. Then I have 2 dill plants. I particularly do not use dill a lot in my cooking, but you know who loves dill? The swallowtail butterflies. This is a host plant for them. So this summer, hopefully these guys will be nice and big and then covered in caterpillars, because they will use this as their food source before they go and make their chrysalis to turn into butterflies. So that will happen on the dill and the flatleaf parsley. We have a little rosemary. Rosemary will be a perennial. This is a baby one. Of course, rosemary will grow up and be nice and big and evergreen, so that'll give me some structure even in the winter. Sage. There's tarragon over here, another basil, because I love basil, making pesto in the summer. Thyme and oregano, those will be perennials. And then this is the Sweet Romance from Proven Winners Lavender. So I wanted to try that out and see how it does. So it's doing great. And then we have the 2 gorgeous parsleys. This is a flat leaf parsley. I personally am one of those people that do not like cilantro. Blah. So if you love cilantro, yay for you. Instead of parsley, maybe you go ahead and put your cilantro right here. We use parsley year-round in all of our cooking, so I am so excited that I no longer have to buy it from the grocery store for the summer. It's loving life, so I just cut on it as I need it to harvest it. You just go down and cut at the bottom. So it's not really at the top that you're going to cut. You're going to go in and you're going to snip and take the whole stem out and then use the leaves for your cooking. So the herbs. Also talking about herbs, you will notice that I have 2 blue pots on either side of the herb box. These are 2 different types of mint. I love mint. I love putting it in my water. This is very refreshing, especially in the summertime. A word of caution though, I do have them in containers and not in my boxes, because if I put them in the ground or in my garden boxes, they will most likely take over. Mint for us here in the South can be very invasive. So you need to proceed with caution with your mint, because it will send out the stems, it will root. You will be fighting mint for years if you leave it unchecked. So just a word of caution, if you want to use it as a great ground cover, go for it. If you don't want it to be invasive and take over, put them in pots or containers. So then the next one we have over here is kale and beets. So I have a couple of different varieties of kale, and then I have, these are all beets. I pulled one out earlier to see how it was doing. This is a baby beet. The whole variety is a petite beet. So this is the great size for it. I'm not really a beet fan. I didn't think I was a beet fan. Jerry loves beets, so last year I grew them. This was a direct sow again, and they are doing great. They're delicious roasted. So the other night, I threw some beets in there and they were so good. So love the beets, and of course they're great for you. They are in here. The kale I did start indoors and I transplanted as little baby plants. When I planted them, I really did try to put them really close to an irrigation dripper so that they would get lots of good water. And there are 3 different kinds in here. I don't remember which ones they are. I'm pretty sure this is Tuscan, which is a great Italian one. Then this is Red Russian, I believe. You can tell, but it has those purpley pink stalks on it. And then we'll throw the name up of that one because Jenny doesn't remember. But again, with the kale, I will harvest it by the leaf. I won't cut the whole head. I will just cut the leaves and use them for salads or sauteing. Fantastic. And then the last box we have over here is the lettuce blend box. I have a row of arugula. I have a summer lettuce blend in the middle, and then this was a cool weather lettuce blend on the end. You will notice that my arugula and the cool weather lettuce, it is bolting. If you don't know what bolting is when it sends up the stalks and it starts to flower on it. You will notice that both the arugula, and I believe that's actually arugula in that cool weather blend that's bolting too. So typically when your lettuce bolts is when it gets too hot and the plant's kind of freaking out. It's actually where it's going to send up, and this is where seeds could be produced. It will change the flavor of your lettuce when it bolts. I had a piece of this arugula this week, and it was spicy. Arugula is naturally spicy, but it was really peppery. So these 2 lettuce blends, the arugula and that lettuce blend, their days are numbered. Like today's supposed to be like in the high 80s. Tomorrow's going to be really hot too. So I will go ahead and harvest my last harvest on these guys, pull them out, and then go ahead and start getting ready for my tomatoes and peppers and put them in. Now, this middle row is a summer blend of lettuce. So it is going to be more adaptable to our heat and our temperatures. So I can harvest this for probably at least, I would say, like another month before it is done. You will notice again that I did direct sow all of my seeds in here. They're not individual heads of arugula or lettuce. Personally, for a family, I like doing this because I can just come in here, like with the arugula, I would probably just pinch it up and just cut with some kitchen scissors like this and just harvest it. Harvest what I need for that day, that week, whatever I'm going to use it, and then I can come back at another time and move on down the line. Do the same thing with my lettuce. When we grew vegetables for the farmer's market, we would do the big heads. This is just easier, I think, for us as a family, so I like to do it as the individual leaves as opposed to the big heads. But what we did with these 5 garden boxes, again, we've had these for several years. When we first put the boxes together, we used an organic soil blend, filled up the boxes. That lasted us for years. But of course, in harvesting and all this other stuff, your soil level starts to go down. This spring, winter, I added some more soil back in there. I added some great cow manure compost up there. And then when I planted, I used an organic fertilizer that's specifically blended for gardens, and the plants are taking off. I do not use synthetic fertilizers on my vegetables. I try to do it as organically as possible. And you can tell that it's very lush, doing quite well. I want you to stay tuned. In the coming week or two, we are going to do another episode of the Victory Garden using containers. So if you are in an apartment, a condo, a townhome, or you just have you don't have a lot of yard space, maybe you only have your back porch that gets that 6 hours of sun, you too can have a Victory Garden. So stay tuned because we're going to show you how to plant a Victory Garden in a container. I hope you have been inspired. I hope this is giving you some ideas on what you can do in the space that you have been given. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to Gardening with Creekside if you have not already. We appreciate you. Thank you. Happy gardening. We'll see you next time.